I've been extremely lazy for the past, what, 3, 4 months now. I mean, I've just been tired. During the winter months, I honestly don't feel like doing much. I mean, my diet suffers. I'm not necessarily always going to the gym as much, and trying to work and then also record YouTube videos. Something just doesn't get done, and recording YouTube videos has really been it. The one thing, and I'll say the one because I'm like right now, I have the energy to do it. In fact, I did have COVID back in October, so that really screwed me for a little bit. But then I also got sick again, and towards the end of December, so like right before Christmas, I got sick again. And yeah, it took me a little while to recover from COVID, and then finally I think I did have some energy to do some stuff, and then I got sick again, and then now I'm like, all right, I have a bunch of stuff in front of me right now. I'm just going to make several videos. When am I going to edit them? I don't know. But this is a semi-comfortable chair. I got decent lighting right now, at least according to that little screen right there. So let me do what I should have done weeks ago, if not months ago. Right here, this is, and I'll hold it close and I'll put some B-roll in here to actually make it look a little better, maybe. This is the ASUS Zenfone 9. I think my most popular video, my most successful video was about this. I don't know if I don't think it was the unboxing. I think it was the 1 month later or something. I don't know. But I think like 13,000 views is the most popular video I had. And it happened to be about this phone. I made another one talking about 5 reasons I said yes, because originally I was going to return it. But then I ended up saying, you know what, I'm going to keep it. And if off top, I probably should have watched the video to remind myself of it. But I think I can recall what those 5 things were. So first, not in any particular order, but just the fact that it has a headphone jack, which again, right now, and I don't even know if it's going to focus, but there's a headphone jack on the Zenfone 9. Cool. USB-C, cool. That may or may not have been one. Small form factor is great. 5.9 inches. If you want a compact phone, that's what you need. I did like the fact that it had a dual SIM card, dual physical SIM. I've grown to the realization that it's probably best to have the option for physical and eSIM. I always complain about the iPhone 14 and 15 in the United States only having eSIM now. And then with this phone only having physical SIM options, it's like, all right, I like the hybrid option of being able to use both, but it is what it is. The fact that it runs Android has been something that, yeah, it's okay. It's an Android device. Obviously, that's one reason that I like it. And the battery life is really good. I mean, for the most part, I don't have any issues getting through a day when this is my primary device. There might have been some other things, and I just don't remember exactly what those other ones were. But yeah, that's it. And I've made a video talking about the fact that because this phone is so good, and after the Zenfone 10 was announced and released, I didn't see, and because of so many overlapping similarities, I didn't see a reason to actually upgrade. And for a while I didn't. And one day I was just sitting on the toilet early in the morning. I happened to open the eBay app, and there's one about to expire, one that I put in my watch list. And I said, you know what? Let me give it a try. So right now you are looking at a Zenfone 9 and a Zenfone 10. And aside from the fact that I originally told you which one was the 9, if I were to, take the case off this one, aside from the colors, would you really be able to tell the differences between the Zenfone 9 and the Zenfone 10? And honestly, you can't. This I think technically is a little heavier and a little thicker. All of the things that I said previously apply to this still. Still has a headphone jack, still runs Android, 5.9 inch screen. I think it's like a tenth of a millimeter bigger now. Still good battery life, still USB-C, still dual physical SIM, and whatever other things. The only difference, I think, which for me has never been noticeable or never been notable, is the fact that it now has wireless charging. And that's why it's a little thicker, which is also a little bit heavier. There's a wireless charging pad in there, and I'm like, oh, great. And that's pretty much it. If you happen to, I think you can select different apps to be put in what's called game mode or something. And instead of going up to 120 hertz, certain apps can now go up to 144 hertz. Okay. And that's it. I would say I'm going to turn it on and show you everything. And let's see if it actually works. But it would not surprise me if the battery's dead, because, and it looks like the battery is not dead. But I bought it and I did literally nothing with it because I said I'm going to just keep using this 9 for now until I feel like transferring everything over. And I know that the experience should be exactly the same. In fact, yeah, it just shut itself off because it's dead, because I have not used it. I think I've had enough for maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks. So at some point I will, and yeah, it's going through the, oh, no, it's completely dead now. At some point I will transfer everything over and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on it. But I've complained about other companies doing it, like, oh, iPhones every year are the same and you don't need to upgrade every year. And yeah, I will say I went against my own advice. I told myself I wasn't going to buy this phone, and I did. And the biggest difference, which I didn't harp on already, is what I knew what would happen, and I've already seen it happen. The fragmentation within their own device ecosystem. Zenfone 9 still running Android 13. Zenfone 10, Android 14 is now available. And when I saw that, immediately downloaded it. And yeah, the Zenfone 10 is now running Android 14. And that sucks. I know that this phone is going to be supported longer because it came out a year later. But I would hope that these companies would be like, all right, for the devices that we support, our release timeline is going to be similar. Maybe not identical, but similar. That is one thing when it comes to the iPhone and with the, no, I can't say with the Pixel. But with the iPhone, yeah, when Apple releases something for their supported devices, it's available for all devices at the same time. I think there have been a few small little things. Oh, well, for this particular device, we need to push something that just isn't relevant to other devices. So it's possible that maybe the other devices just didn't receive something. I think that has happened. But if they are still actively supporting both the Zenfone 9 and the Zenfone 10, once Android 14 is available, it would have been nice to also be able to get it at the same time for the Zenfone 9. But that's not the case. So at some point, I'll do a follow-up video, and I can imagine that my experience is going to be close to identical. And that's really all I can say, because I have not been using it as a daily driver. One thing that was troublesome about my particular Zenfone 9 is the fact that it was not the phone that was made for this country. I believe it was the Taiwanese version of the phone, or let's just say that a phone made for the Asian market. So it did not have all of the reception bands, 5G bands or whatever, to allow me to get the service that I needed. When I was living in Texas, I had no issues. But when I moved here, it was evident that there were certain places where calls would just consistently drop. And the moment I took my SIM card out of this phone and put it in either my Galaxy or my iPhone, those same areas were no longer problem areas. So I need to look to see if the Zenfone 10 that I have is the one that was made for this country or not. Because if I have the same issues, then I was going to be like, oh crap, well, I just bought the newer version of the same issue. So I'm looking forward to at some point putting my SIM card in this device. But for the time being, yeah, like I said, I've been sick and just haven't really felt like doing a bunch of stuff. So for the time being, and I've been sitting here looking like a mess this whole time, my SIM card is still here. Eventually I'll switch it over. And when I do, I'll make a follow-up video. Can I recommend buying the Zenfone 10? Sure, I recommend buying the Zenfone 9. If you have the 9, no reason to get the 10. But if you're looking for a small Android device, I would recommend the 10 without any hesitation. Not even using it, knowing that the experience is going to be close to identical, seeing what reviewers have said about it online. Yeah, if you're looking for a compact Android device, by all means, consider the Zenfone 10.